Here's the feedback for Sophie Thomas for part 1 of the animation simulation module. Okay, Sophie, we'll start with the zombie character. We'll look at the range of motion first. Yeah, looking at this, there's no great problems that I can see with the wrist there. These fingers look to be articulating and to be jointed appropriately, so there's no issues with those. Let's have a look at the next video clip. Might have been useful perhaps to seeing these fingers from side on, so we can see how well they curl around. The only one we can really see is this one, which looks pretty good. So from judging it on that, then they're probably pretty close to excellent, I would say. No issues with that. That looks good. And we have got a side on one, so that's good. Yeah, thumb maybe a little around this area. Might just want a little bit further blending, but generally very good. Okay, forearm twist. Again, looks good. Yeah, my only downside there, perhaps, I'm just going to open this properly, is that looks good. It looks like we lost a bit of volume here, but I think we've probably got another view of that to get a better view. But I'm a bit concerned that this one here specifically, when we get that little raise of the hand there, there's a very big dip here, and I'd like to see just a little bit more volume maintained of the forearm there. And the rest is fine, no issues with that. Next one. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I mean there, I think we're losing quite a lot in here. I know it's an excessive bend, but what perhaps would have done, Sophie, is I'd probably just weighted a little bit of the shirt to maybe the forearm, just a touch, so when it comes close to it, it starts to just buckle a little bit, just push in like this. Otherwise you get that intersection, it just becomes very obviously wrong. So I probably would have done that there. Other than that, everything was pretty sweet there, actually. It's pretty good. Right, okay, so let's remove that. So look at the head. It's not too bad, but we have got that intersection of mesh there, which is pretty easily tidied up, really. If you'd have just weighted a little bit of that shirt and the collar to perhaps the neck bone, so when it moved, it just pulled it just a touch. I think it would have just eliminated that. And also, I did notice with the head, just go back, we're losing a little bit of the volume, kind of the cross-section volume. It just seems to have flattened just a touch. So that's something you could have just tidied up, maybe. So a further look. You can see more evidence of the intersection there. Okay. And that's just a close-up in this. I'm happy that we've seen the head actually there. This is quite a telling one, so we'll have a look at this. Yeah, we've lost again. We've lost just a little bit too much volume there, I think. This calf muscle here should maintain a little bit more volume around there and then dip in and kind of meet this in the middle. That just drops off a little too sharply, I think. A bit more blend would have worked better there. So the other side. Now what there is there in the middle, I have to say, does pinch together really quite beautifully, actually. It's really good. It's just this section here, just seems to have lost some volume somehow. Don't really know what's happened there, because you've done the difficult bit right, which is this bit. And that's lovely. It's really well done, in fact. Let's have a look. Yeah, no problems with that. It's all good. Yeah, looks like you maintain good edge flow across there. Yeah, similarly there. I don't see any great problems with that. I think we've got another view of that, have we? Shoulder. It might just be a little bit of a... It may just be like a shadow error actually, just across the top. Now I don't think it's an issue. Okay, yeah. Again, this is brilliant, and I think that is one of the more difficult bits to get right, if not the most difficult. And again, I think you've done a really good job of that. So let's keep going. The legs. Yeah, possibly just pulled in a little bit too much here, I think. Left a little kind of groove there. Should have been a nice smooth transition there around the top of that area. Other than that, everything looks pretty good there. See from the front. Yeah, this bit again can be tricky to get right, but I think you've done a good job of it, so happy with that. Through it again. Maybe just a little bit too much creasing going on there. Maybe just a little bit of a tidier fall off, but it's minimal. Right, last view. I'm happy with that already, so I don't need to see that again really. So let's just check out these toes. Yeah, they're great. And the ankle worked well as well. Yeah, no issues with that. Brilliant. I think you've done a really good job of rigging that actually. I mean, I've made some critique there, but it's minor stuff. Just tiny little bits of polish to absolutely perfect it. But I'm really pleased with that. So let's have a look and see what we've got for these motion capture takes. Yeah, certainly a good test of the rigging. I don't see any obvious errors. I mean, obviously, when you work with motion capture, you're always going to have the error of the fingers not being motion capture. Well, not always. I mean, some motion capture will capture fingers, but our system doesn't. So it's quite they're a flat plate of a hand sometimes in the motion capture. But most of this works quite well. I think maybe there's a little bit of a problem with the twist of the hand, the wrist there, but again, that's fairly minor. No issues with that. A good bit of rigging. And that's good. There's maybe one with the swim there, just around this area. I thought I might have been pulling just a little bit. Seems to have lost just a bit of volume there for some reason, just around this. Other than that, it's actually really good. And then the toes. Quite a bit of intersection here. I suppose in this case what you'd be looking at doing is maybe tweaking the mesh slightly here to take into account kind of the contact between the thigh and the sort of the belly area there. But that said, I think you've done a very, very good job of rigging that character. So well done on that. So let's move on to week 4. So it looks like you've done the dinosaur soft body dynamics. So we'll work through these, see what we have. Pretty bleached out scene, but that might not hide too severely the effects of your soft body. That looks pretty good. We're just going to check out a few other renders before making too bold a judgment. That's really good actually. I want to just concentrate on the tail a minute here. Yeah, I mean that tail looks pretty good, you know. The only critique I'd perhaps offer might be that what I'd expect is probably this bit here toward the torso to offer slightly more flex than perhaps the end of the tail, because there's less skin, less loose sort of skin there to flex than there is perhaps here with some kind of relaxed muscle sort of areas or something, or fatty build-up of tissue or something. So that's the only doubt I would say, but what is there works pretty well. So let's continue on. So this looks like you've had a go at the thigh area. It does work, but I'm really struggling with this kind of bleached out render. I'm just wondering what's happened with the lighting there. I'm kind of happy with the tail, don't need to see that one again. We've got the neck. Yeah, there definitely is some kind of follow through and overlap. I can see it best probably there in this section. But you have appeared to just capture a little bit of the chin in that as well. So you must be careful when you're working with this. And also, because your animation kind of abruptly finishes here, there's no kind of extra couple of seconds on the end there which will showcase whether there's any flex going on. So, you know, if you're going to be using like soft body dynamics flex, modifiers and things, leave some room in your animation for the flex to continue. So probably a couple of extra seconds of no animation in there would allow the kind of slightly simulated flex to take over and do its thing. So let's continue on. But you have put plenty of renders in there, which makes it much easier to assess. And I do see there's certainly some flex there, and I like the amount that's in there. I do. All right, let's have a look. Last one. Yeah, I like the fact that you have actually put the thigh one in there as an extra. Yeah, so that's again is well done. I just think you probably slightly shot yourself in the foot a bit by not lighting that better, because it's really bleached out. So it's very difficult to see the quality of what you've done. I think it's actually pretty decent quality. Okay, so we'll close that one down. Week 5, morph target stuff. So let's have a look. Set this to loop in case we need it. Excellent. They're all well considered. Yeah, it's some subtle. It's good. Pout. I want to see that pout again. Yeah, I'm not sure if that pout needed the mouth to be opened. I think you could have probably opened the mouth with a separate slider and then had the lips pout as a separate element. But that said, it still works. I'm glad you've divided up the brows, because it just adds that much more flexibility to your control system. That's good. I really like that. I think you've done a really good job. I'm pleased that you've gone sort of above and beyond. We asked for 5, but you put I think 8 there, haven't you? So again, good work. So technically speaking, it all works well. I think it's very clear that you've done a lot of research to get to this standard of likeness of the kind of facial expressions you'd expect from an ape character. So well done on that. I think you probably could have reined it in a bit on some of them because it looks a little bit like they're too exaggerated. But that said, technically speaking, that works wonderfully well. Good control system. It all functions properly. So let's have a look at the last element on here. Move up a touch. Yeah, that functions. Good 4-way controller. I think with the mouth, I would have taken it a step further and made sure that when you push it up there, it really closes the mouth too, and the lips meet one another. Yeah, a little bit of pinch in there, I think, but that said, it does look like a good sort of pout of the lips. Yeah, good. Again, you separated the eyebrows, which is good. And it looks like you've actually got like a 2-way control for the brows. Excellent, I like that. That's a good idea. And you've done the same with the left, I'm guessing. Again, it's subtle, but it works. It functions. You do both together. Yeah, brilliant. That works really well. Okay. We've got a couple of renders here, have we? Oh, okay, I see. So you're just trying them out. Okay. Yeah. So it is a shame that for week 5 we've not got the animation sequence. So I don't know why that couldn't have been submitted. I did see your note, which I've added there as notes on your submission. I don't think it really suffers from it because I get a good indication of what you have done. So that is a bit of a shame, but I still understand what you've done, so I'm not so concerned. Now, on to your blog. I've marked by this point most of the students' work, and I have to say that I think this is definitely the best one in terms of the blog. There's a lot of detail in here. I think it's a really well thought out, really well put together, well written and documented blog, so well done on that. I don't get the impression that you've done this for the sake of it. I think you've done it not just for the marks. You've done it because it generally does inform your approach, I think, in places. You've been very thorough, as you have in your submission generally. You've been very thorough in your blog. I do feel like each individual element that you've researched here has informed your approach to rigging and skinning the character. I'm very impressed also that whilst you didn't go down the route of doing the muscle rigging, you did still include it in your blog. I'll just get down to that. So I'm very impressed that you thought that was worth adding anyway. And I agree, it is. You've done it. You may as well blog it. Why would you not? It's only a small element, but it proves that you've done it. So soft body dynamic stuff again, I think is brilliant. I'm very pleased that you've thought very carefully about things other than just dinosaurs. Yes, it's a dinosaur figure, but you're not going to get much research which pertains to dinosaur movement. But you are going to get things like elephants and other animals with loose skin. And I think that's paid off, because I think your final submission is much better for having seen that stuff. Similarly with the morph target stuff, it's very clear to me that this has informed your approach to developing the morph targets. I like the fact that whilst you develop morph targets, you also drawing parallels. You're not just saying, oh, I've just looked at some ape characters and yeah, I'll pretend that I'm going to do something with them. You really have done something with them. It looks like this does inform that, for example. Yeah, so very thorough submission for this. I'm really pleased with that. I'm just going to nip back to the top again. So this is one I'll be probably remembering and showing, I think, next year to other people to say this is what you're supposed to do. So well done. So generally, Sophie, I think that this has actually been a very, very successful half a module's worth of work. I think you've put the effort in. It looks, I mean, I think you attended most of the classes, but you definitely put the effort in outside of class as well to go above and beyond, doing slightly more soft body dynamic elements on the character, doing some extra morph targets, thinking about having a 4-way control and instead of a 2-way controller for the bone rigging. So well done, big thumbs up, nice one.